Might get back on track where I'm sitting in the P&E meetings, but
We missed you, by the way.
did you?
Yeah.
You weren't at it yesterday.
Pardon?
You weren't there yesterday.
Yes, I was.
Oh, you were.
Who else?
It was me.
Were you that? You were there yesterday?
We sit so far away from each other.
Yeah,
It's easy to
well,
forget
and I
that.
get better looking. I get so much better looking every day that you probably don't
That must
recognize
have been
me.
it. Yeah, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Who's
Well,
that silver stallion? Okay, we'll get closer. Mike's hot. Mics are hot.
I must not have talked enough yesterday.
We had a lot of stuff to talk about yesterday. Okay, countdown. Sure. Look good for the audience.
Wow.
There we are. Okay, good
Right on time.
afternoon. Thank you for attending the August 7th Water Management Committee meeting. We are commencing at 3 o'clock sharp. We have a quorum, or half a quorum. We're ready to roll. So I'll start off. Do we have any public comments? Nope, seeing none. See an eyeball. What's the eyeball?
I think we're supposed to wait 20 seconds to give them time to
Oh,
call.
is that what it is?
Not anymore. Zoom is live and
Oh, okay.
right on target.
Good enough. Okay, well, they can,
Wow,
I
that's
guess,
technology for you.
call in later. Anything from the committee?
No, sir.
Okay, number 3, Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority. Ordinarily, Chuck, who's not here, would be addressing that. Did he give you any handoff?
Yes and no. I think he and I have already had one conversation about one of the topics that's going to come up, and I will talk to him about it again next time I see him and before the next GA meeting. And that is the staff, GA staff has requested that they spend the remainder of the consolidation money, grant money, on planning. And I don't know exactly how much money is going to be left. I think yesterday we talked that it's going to be between $2.5 and $3 million that's left after we do the couple little things we've already got planned. And my personal opinion is that it'd be a waste of, I guess I don't really know what they mean by by studying or planning for it. But nonetheless, it seems to me that they ought to be looking at more options before they start spending the money in that manner. Because I think the water district could come up with some ideas, perhaps, anyway. They ought to give us a chance to look at what can we do with that $2.5 to $3 million other than just giving it to Stetson.
Some physical projects.
Yeah, something that looks like we accomplished something with
Right.
the money. Yeah.
Okay, and you'll have that discussion with, and that next GA is next Wednesday? Is that
I believe their meeting is next Wednesday.
Wednesday? Okay,
Yeah.
so we got time to get that closed.
So
out.
we'll have our meeting, GA meeting, we'll have our board meeting before then.
Okay.
And I'm going to be whispering in Chuck's ear as well.
Okay, and I know he'll probably touch on, because it's probably going to be part of the exec. I think that was going to be an item for discussion on the admin exec anyway, so there'll be an opportunity in there to, yeah, item F. So there'll be a GA item on the board district meeting next week where
Right.
we can fit that right in. Yeah, appreciate you doing that. Okay, potential impact of recycled water on the district's need for imported water. Of course, I think the discussion here that's probably worth keeping alive is as an alternative to the pipeline. I think there's been some discussions about perhaps using that 50 million that's coming in from WRDA to perhaps address a recycled water project as opposed to doing a pipeline project, which we don't have sufficient funds to pull off.
Oh, okay. I guess I wasn't aware of that possibility of using the money differently. But that certainly would be beneficial. I guess in my mind, the only, we keep talking about working with the city like the city is really trying to work with us.
Mhm.
And it seems to me that the biggest thing holding us back right now is the lack of any cooperation on the part of the city
Mm.
to work with us. And that is where I think we need to apply some effort. I totally agree that if we could get that money switched from the pipeline to the recycled water, that would be great. And it's about the same amount of money, about the same amount of water. I know the county lawyer keeps talking about 1,500 acre
Mhm.
feet, but the last time I looked at the city's annual report, it was 2,500
Mhm.
acre feet. And in my mind, that's going to be an issue at the adjudication, or should be, of, how that water is used. So,
I think there's a question that the effluent collected is on the order of 2,500, but the amount of recycled water that you get from that after processed is less than,
'Cause
well, it's slightly less, yes.
but I don't know if it's
but-
1,500.
But the real issue, pardon me, is that the city and the Navy have an agreement to provide some of that water for the Tui Chub
Mhm.
and other water for the golf course.
Right.
And the Tui Chub is not an endangered natural species. It was imported. So I don't really see that being a critical issue. We do have to, that is, and the GSA has to look at endangered, what are they called, natural species or local, but we don't necessarily have to worry about imported species. And the golf course, in my mind, that's a separate issue. Um, I don't see a need for the Navy having to have their own private golf course. That's
Mhm.
just my view. But it'll be a function of what the lawyers come up with in the adjudication.
Right.
And how much water does the Navy want to, if the Navy's willing to trade us good water for, uh, what is it, secondary water? Or even tertiary water, sure, we should talk about it, but to say that there's only 1,500 acre feet is not correct
Mhm.
statement. But like I said, in my mind, the real issue is getting the city to acknowledge that they've got some skin in the game and they're somehow responsible for helping with sustainability of our local water supply. And I haven't seen them do that yet. On the other hand, that said, there is an election coming up.
There certainly is, and
And my feeling is we need to be more vocal about that.
there may be a change.
Well, if you talk to the local citizens, I bet you not 1 in 10 understands the critical nature of us getting that recycled water into our water system. And that, I think, is something that we need to make an issue of. Otherwise, it'll keep sliding. They originally were supposed to have a new wastewater treatment plant online in 2020,
Right.
I believe. And we started paying for it back in 2012.
Right.
And they still don't have it started, let alone finished. And part of that has to be a recycled water project. So my feeling is we need to make it an issue.
So the mayor has fairly recently mentioned the new wastewater treatment facility, but he doesn't say anything about recycled water. He just talks about the wastewater treatment facility as a project that the city was apparently going to start undertaking within a relatively short period of time,
Yeah,
maybe next year.
but I don't think the
That doesn't-
EPA is going to let
May
them
not.
start a pardon me, a new wastewater treatment plant without having something they can do with the effluent that comes out of it. I'd be almost willing to bet the EPA is going to slap them around a little bit about
Probably.
that. So we'll see.
Probably.
It's going to be interesting. But in the meantime, I think we need to make an issue out of it.
My point was that, they have been talking about the wastewater treatment facility, but
yeah.
they have not been talking about
Yeah.
recycled water.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what we have to push.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Agree.
I agree. Yeah. God, we agree on something.
And that kind of leads right into the alternate water sources, which this is one of our alternate water sources, right? Is the making better use of the water that we have already in the valley. Um, I'm not sure. What else do we talk about on this one, guys? Help remind me. Was there been any other?
The only, oh, the alternate water, yeah, it's El Paso's and
Paso's basically
yeah.
been it, hadn't it? And
Well, El Paso would be good, and I totally agree with that. It's a function of, is that already considered as part of the safe yield?
so
You
when,
know, and of course, we've got to, first of all, agree on what the safe yield is. And clearly the safe yield's going up.
right,
Don't know today exactly how much, but it's going up. So therefore, we can get that from anywhere we want. I mean, we can pump the safe yield from wherever we want. And if the El Paso area is a likely spot, then we obviously need to look at it. But of itself, you know, what we got to do is make sure that there's safe yield available to pump.
I don't remember what Tim's position on this was, but I do remember talking with Jeff Hensley a few years ago about how they had handled in the water budget the El Paso, and he says the 7650 reflects, in their opinion, the 7650
I think in the
reflects what's in the El Paso.
GSP, the initial GSP, I think you're right, but now they've switched all the water around to make their model look better.
Yeah, so they moved it.
And they just moved the recharge. So
Amazing.
it'll be interesting to see what the new GSP says. I don't know.
Okay, well, I don't think there's much else to talk on that today. I guess we're on to item 6, future agenda items. Anything you'd like to see on this, Stan?
I don't have anything. And we're missing George. I think he
That would be very helpful, but
might have, I can't remember if he had anything or not, so whatever. We'll
catch it next time.
catch it next time, yeah.
All righty, well, we are at adjournment then at 3:11.3.
Yeah, I told you it would be over with.
That's not bad.
Right?
Bad.